G'day everyone. Well, I got given this it's really large old contactor relay from my very good friend. His channel name is Wicked GQ Patrol. I'm going to put a link in the description. So thank you very much, Matt. I didn't initially realise that this was a gift. I assumed it was just a show and tell. So thank you very much for this donation. I'm very, very appreciative, because it's not every day you would find something like this. Probably a fairly uncommon item. I mean, such a very old, large contactor. I assume most of them just get thrown out in the bin. That's the tragedy of electrical infrastructure. Most of it just gets pegged, you know, they don't keep it. I guess it depends on who uninstalls it. But anyway, here we go. It's a get this label. I could turn it the other way, but nah, can't be bothered. Should be right. So it's a Klockner-moeller maybe Dil space 4A1/56. There are the ratings. So it's a pretty big contactor. It will do up to a 35 kilowatt motor, which is, you know, pretty friggin' big. This is the action of the mechanism. It's got these changeover contacts in the back. Maybe status lights, or maybe to switch different things on or off depending on. I'm not entirely sure. You can have these sets of contacts linked or not linked as here. And there's a little link that goes from there to there. So I don't know what the point of that is. Only just you could switch. You could use it as a very flexible contactor. These are obviously designed for smaller loads. So you know you could switch God knows what. Don't look like they've ever been used for anything because the contacts are too bloody perfect. So let's give it a let's take the cover off and let's have a look at the contact set, shall we? Bakelite, of course. Now the first thing to note is that it's got these very large spring-loaded. If I can pull them back, they're fairly hard springs actually. Contact sets. This is switched a very large pump for a fire sprinkler system. So again, I'll show you the mechanism with the cover apart. Very good quality. Yeah, don't think your modern contactors will be around for as long. It's obviously, you know, alloy contacts. Like you know, the basic structure of the contacts is obviously copper, and the actual contact faces. I assume they're probably a tungsten alloy or something that can withstand lots of lots of heat. I say heat because when it comes in, obviously there's a spark, so it would be very resilient to heat. Yeah, so I'm not really sure of the era. 09604, so maybe it was 1960 or something like that. But I'm going to guess 50s, 60 kind of era. Okay, I'll sort of move this across. Let's energise this and see how loud it is. Of course, I've already had it energised. Now, note, I've actually got the contactor relay sitting on a piece of cardboard to isolate it from the bench. Maybe I can whack the lens cap under there. Being extra lazy and not getting a tripod. Just get it to sit there. Very nice. Maybe get it closer. Alright, so let's energise this contactor. Yeah, sorry, the camera moved. There you go. That shows how violent. No, those contacts aren't live. Okay, they're all dead. There's no way they can be live. So that just shows how violent the relay is when it comes in. The fact that it actually made the camera move on the bench. Now, most of your contactors, even large capacity ones, aren't that violent. Now, I have wired this up with the neutral wire. You see the relay coil comes up to this contact set up here, or slash terminal, you know, junction terminal, whatever you want to call it. and it goes down to this terminal on the front, which doesn't seem to... I've whacked a multimeter across all the terminals, and that terminal with the wire on it there doesn't communicate with any of the other terminals. It just seems to be like a junction terminal or something. There's a black wire on there suggesting that it's had a neutral. It's like a neutral junction, you know, like maybe you connect some, you know, several neutral wires to it. So okay, it's still energized. The only live sections are obviously the wiring on the top, namely the brown wire, which in Australia is active. When you're stuffing around with this stuff, please be careful. Obviously, with this particular contactor, you wouldn't energize the contactor, you wouldn't switch a load with these contact sets if you didn't have this side cover on, because obviously the very thick Bakelite there, as you can see, is designed to stop flashover from the different phases if you're running three-phase, you know, switching, and to stop arc flash if there's a possible, you know, catastrophic failure of the device. So I just want everybody to have a note of safety and be damn careful when you're stuffing around with electricity, because you don't get a second chance. So let's de-energize it. Let's give it a run one more time. So there you go. View from the top, if I can get the bloody camera strap out of the frame. Well, there you go. Very large. You see how much force this contactor has when it comes in. So yeah, just thought you guys might like to see that. Thank you very much again, Wicked GQ Patrol, aka Matt, or Matty as I call him. Thank you very, very kindly for this donation. Very much appreciated.